Alright, so this is the second feature match for split format. So I just played this game a couple days ago, and it was the first round of a little one-day tournament that we did with 4 people. And I chose to play this combo deck that just got added to the format and has not been tested at all. I just did like a few solo hands to figure out what combos were even possible, but besides that I haven't really done any testing whatsoever. So I don't really know what to expect going in, and I don't know what deck he's playing. It is kind of inconsistent, because it's really important that you open this Stardust Synchron card, and the only searcher for it is Stardust Illuminate. So you get 6 copies of your starter, one of your important starters in the 40 card deck. And if you don't open it, the plays that you have are much worse. You still have some options, but they're not nearly as good as what you can do if you open this card. So thankfully I opened it, and I opened a way to get Trail as well. So if you have these 2 cards and you have a Hieratic, that's your 3 card combo really. And it's pretty solid, like for split format standards. I would still call the deck a glass cannon, honestly, but it's not the worst deck out there. Like it can win its fair share of games in the right hands. Basically, it involves tributing a hieratic monster, usually Esset, or maybe Tefnuit if you go second, but that's pretty risky. I wouldn't do it. You tribute Esset usually for Synchron, and then Synchron summons itself and searches this card, and Esset special summons Labradorite from the deck. Then if you have Trail, you summon that for free too, giving you the fodder you need to make Stardust. When you Synchro summon, this card that you searched off Synchron will basically special summon any level 1 dragon from your deck through stacking it and then drawing a card. Well, not any level 1 dragon. It'll summon Wish Converging Dragon, because you stack it and then draw it, and then Wish Converging Dragon will summon any level 1 dragon from your deck. In this case, I go for Black Metal. That's usually what you want to do, since you can search Red Eye Stardust Metal Dragon off of it. And then you Synchro 10 with the token that Trail makes to make Majestic Star. You should Synchro with Black Metal Dragon, which I knew, but I had a brain fart and I kind of forgot to do that, and I used the token instead. It's fine either way. If you run LP, then it's the same exact result. You just use one more extra deck spot. LP is also there for a backup play if you don't get a good hand. But in this case, it helped me out, because even though I misplayed and didn't Synchro with Black Metal, I could just link it off for LP anyway, and then banish LP for Red Med, when you would normally banish the token off Trail to summon it, but same result. And then this summons back the Esset that you tributed, and then Esset will make itself level 6, because you control a level 6 normal dragon, and since Labradorite's a tuner, you make Ultimaya, and if you open a spell or trap, then you can trigger Ultimaya's effect to summon Crystalling. And that is basically the standard combo you're going to do, is Majestic Dragon plus Crystalling. I also got lucky and opened Majestic Mirage. I think I opened it. And this is really nice, because basically this would tribute itself for cost to negate something and nuke your opponent's field, and then you don't get it back until your next turn if Red Med survives. But with Majestic Mirage, you can tribute it, and then Mirage will just revive it again. So you can either keep it to just keep it safe, like keep it on your board in case Red Med gets popped somehow, or you can just tribute it again to get a second negate and nuke. And then if you nuke your opponent's whole field twice on their turn, like, your other stuff's probably going to survive anyway, so then this can just revive it again. In split format, so basically these Stardust cards are like brand new support that just came out in the OCG. And they also got a retrain of Majestic Star Dragon that's level 11. This is level 10, but with Illuminate you can change a level by 1, so you make it level 11 with the same materials. And that level 11 monster is actually not legal in split format, because, in my opinion, it's a bit too strong for the format, and I did not want to go too crazy adding too many strong cards and then end up with like a tier 0 deck. So I just added the regular Majestic Star Dragon with the new support instead of the much, much, much stronger level 11 version. So yeah, here you can see he activated this to pop my Majestic Star Dragon. I tribute to negate and wipe his board, and then Mirage summons it right back. So I still have my Crystalling negate available, he put Pendulum Call, so his scales were not destroyed. But I still negated the effect to pop Majestic Dragon, and then I brought it back to Mirage. His scales just didn't get destroyed because of Pendulum Call. So then he Pendulum Summons, uses Harmonizing, and then since I had Majestic still on board because of Mirage, I Tribute to negate that as well, and then wipe his board again. So he loses both of his monsters, and he has nothing left he can do. And here I realized that Red Med could revive Majestic, which I actually didn't even think about when I was doing test hands to figure out the combos. So that's really nice. I banish his back row in case it's like a Fiendish Chain or something, I don't know. Might as well. You know, you have Cosmic Cyclone, might as well use it. And then, yeah, I revive Majestic Dragon and attack for game. So he's like freaking out because this is a very strong board for split format standards. An Omni Negate and a Monster Negate and a Revive that revives your Omni Negate. Oh yeah, and then I use Ultimaya to get Stardust as well. Just to guarantee, you know, that I hit 8,000 damage. Yeah, that was game 1. Game 2, he goes first. This deck, you know, you want to go first so they don't interrupt your combo. But this deck is extremely fragile to traps and to hand traps. It's just very easy to stop the combo. Logan actually went on to win the tournament. So even though like I destroyed him in that game, it's not like he was just playing a really garbage deck and I had an easy win. He was playing a very solid deck and he went on to win the tournament with it. And I think his list actually leaves a lot to be desired. We were talking about in the Discord. There are a lot of ratios he could change to make it more consistent. So yeah, he goes first, so he has the chance to do stuff before I get my recurring Omni Negate out. He summons Harmonizing and Wisdom with Pendulum Summon. Summons all 3 of these things. This is just here. Doesn't really extend. I don't know why he Pendulum Summoned that. I would have just saved it because it's not a quick effect, so why put it on the field for me to get rid of it before you can use it? Harmonizing summons Wisdom from deck, and then he Synchro Summons Stardust. Stardust is pretty nice, because at least for him right now, because it can negate Majestic Star Dragon. Since Majestic destroys their whole field, Stardust is able to negate the Majestic, and let whatever the Majestic was going to negate resolve. So that Stardust does kind of cause some issues for me, and I have to carefully play around it at a later point. I get Ravine. Here I cheated. I did not realize, so I think he should have won this game in retrospect. I did not realize until later on that Stardust Synchron is not a dragon. So this whole game was kind of invalidated. But for the sake of analyzing the rest of the gameplay, we'll just go with it. Because he didn't realize either, and I had no idea. I just assumed it was a dragon because all the other relevant cards are dragons. I didn't even think that it wouldn't be a dragon. So I did not open the combo at all. I mill this, and then I just had to set some back row because I have no monsters to mess around with. I had 2 Fiendish Chains, which are useless against Stardust because it tributes for cost. And I just kind of have to hope I can survive long enough to draw combo pieces and get some plays going. I negate his Tornado Dragon because I kind of have to. Otherwise it'll just, you know, get rid of my back row and I'll definitely lose. He reuses the Harmonizing that he used last turn because he got it back with Oath Dragon. Summons another Wisdom for deck. That's a very solid, recurring card advantage engine. You just keep getting a new Synchro monster every turn. He summons this. I get to draw off Arriving Miracle because he special summoned a Synchro monster and it applies to either of us doing that. The Black Metal, it might be kind of nice because it basically lets me normal summon Red Med from my deck. Like, it might as well just be a Red Med you can normal summon because you can link it off for LP. And then that'll give me something to do depending on what my next draw is. He has this card, which once per each of our turns, he can destroy any card I control and any Magician card he controls, which is a way to, first of all, interrupt my combo, and second, he can destroy Majestic Star Dragon, and then Majestic tries to negate it, and then Stardust will negate Majestic. So it does give him a pretty reliable out to Majestic Star Dragon. I'm almost dead. I choose not to use this Fiendish Chain to protect my life points, just in case I need it later, because I don't know all the ins and outs of his deck, so I don't know what other options he has. And this wasn't going to be game on board anyway, since I finished chaining the tornado, so I decided to save this in case I needed it later. I draw Majestic Mirage, which, doesn't do anything if I don't have a Stardust or a Majestic on board. But the normal summon Black Metal comes in kind of handy. He activates this but doesn't use the effect, which I really think he should have, because if he pops this, there's just nothing I can do. But I don't think he knew my deck that well either. Of course he didn't. This deck just got added. So yeah, he could have won right then and there if he had just popped this with Time Pendulum Graph. I use Dragon Ravine to mill Stardust Trail, which actually is a dragon. So Ravine isn't totally pointless. It's just Synchron's not a dragon, which now I know. But there are other cards that can search Synchron, like Illuminate or Tuning, which searches any Synchron monster. I attribute Black Metal to summon Synchron from my graveyard, then Trail special summons itself, and that's a very easy way to make Majestic Star Dragon. Black Metal searches Red Men for my deck, and here he also could have just stopped me in my tracks if he used Time Pendulum Graph to pop this, because then I have no tuner to make Stardust with. And he did not realize that either, because he didn't know how the combo really worked. So he definitely should have won this game in retrospect, but he didn't really know how to stop my combo. Yep, and then when Synchron is summoned, you get to search any spell or trap that was Stardust in its text, Stardust Dragon, so that's either Arriving Miracle, or Majestic Mirage, or Stardust Illuminate, or Majestic Absorption, one of the other new support cards that came out, but I do not play that one, because it's kind of a win more card. It equips one of your opponent's monsters to a Majestic or Stardust card you control. But if you already have Majestic Star Dragon and Arriving Miracle and stuff out, you're probably already in a winning position anyway. So you'd rather just have a piece of removal that doesn't need you to already have your win condition on board for it to work. Or you'd rather run an interruption or more consistency pieces. Or this card. This card's just straight up better in my opinion because it works over and over and over again. And it revives your negate so that you can use it twice in one turn. Which could be the difference between them playing through it and not playing through it. Here I activate this, it's really nice that I opened two of these because I was able to stack the Black Metal the first turn with the first one, and then this turn I used this to stack Wish Conversion Dragon, which is necessary to make Majestic Star Dragon. So it's really good that I opened both of them, because it helped me stack a normal summon to get the combo going, and it helped me stack Wish Conversion Dragon to actually finish the combo. If I didn't open the second Arriving Miracle, I could have searched it off Synchron anyway, but since I did, Synchron let me search Mirage instead, and Mirage gives you a lot of ways to just keep making plays and not run out of steam as soon as you tribute your Majestic Star Dragon. So it was nice that I opened both. It wasn't super necessary. I might have been able to do some stuff without it, but just having that extra flexibility with Mirage is really good. I've already used Black Metal and I only play one, so Wish Converging summons my other level 1 target, which is Samsara. Samsara is really good for having follow-up plays because you can banish it to get either Red Med back out of your graveyard or the Hieratic monsters you use, which are Eset and Sue. It can get either of them back, usually Eset, because that'll give you a normal summon to make another play. So it's just a really nice recovery card that you can special summon straight out of the deck during your normal combo. You pretty much only ever summon it, though, if you draw the Black Metal. You could just play a second Black Metal instead, but I like having the two different options, just for whatever situation comes up. When I summon this, he uses Time Pendulum Graph to pop my back row. Oh no, I think he just targeted the back row on accident. Yeah, he uses it to pop Majestic, like I was saying. And here I'm kind of in a pickle, because if I tribute Majestic, he'll just negate it with Stardust. And Mirage hasn't been on board, so I can't just activate it to get Majestic back. So I let it go through because I have the Red Med to revive Majestic Star Dragon, so I'm not even worried about it, because Trail makes this token for free whenever you synchro Stardust Dragon with it, and the token's a dragon, so you can banish it for Red Med and keep your plays going. So yeah, Since I attributed Majestic to negate Time Pendulum Graph and get a Stardust out of the way, he was able to pop a different card instead, because Time Pendulum Graph says if one of the targets isn't destroyed, you get to pick any other card to destroy in its place. So it's a guaranteed break even. Like, you can't really play around with that easily. So he destroys the Fiendish Chain, making his Tornado Dragon live again. I banish the token to summon Red Med and revive Majestic Star Dragon. And he's upset about that, because this card is not easy to play through. It takes a lot of effort to get this off of the board, especially if I have Mirage ready to protect it. Then I just attack over his board. He doesn't even... This was a slight misplay on his part. He doesn't even use his Tornado Dragon before it dies. He could have popped my back row. But he didn't, so I get to use that Fiendish Chain next turn if I need to. Which, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't have made a difference, because Majestic plus Mirage gives me 2 quick effect negate/nukes that he won't be able to play through since he's already used so many resources. So even if he had used Tornado, I don't think it would have made a difference. And then he makes another misplay coming up. You can probably guess what he's going to do. He forgets Stardust Dragon. And he doesn't realize until like 5 minutes later. At which point, like, other plays have already been made and it's kind of too late to bring it back. He uses... Did he use Time Pendulum? Oh no, he didn't use that. I negated his scale because that way he can't Pendulum Summon. So as soon as he activates that, I attribute Majestic Star Dragon to negate the activation and destroys the other 3 cards. He changed Time Pendulum Graph, trying to get at least some value out of his cards before they're all destroyed. He targets my Red Mid. This is fine. Oh, and I misplayed here. I should have activated Mirage first. Duh. Like, that's the whole point, is that it revives Majestic after Majestic tributes itself. But I was too distracted by thinking about what to negate. I forgot to activate Mirage. Yeah, he realizes that he forgot the Stardust. Time Pendulum Graph pops my monster, so I can't keep reviving this anymore. Except I can, because, like I said, Samsara can banish itself to get this back, and then this will get this back, and I can just keep going. Majestic resolves, destroying all his cards, and since it destroys this, before this gets a chance to activate, he will not get to have the free search off of Star Pendulum Graph. And now, unless he has 2 opposite scales in his hand, he will not be able to do anything, because he can't Pendulum Summon. And you don't have any, like, this deck doesn't have anything like Goblinberg, where you summon a monster that lets you summon another monster and Ixies for a play. So yeah, all he can do is normal summon attack. And this was really close. If this had 100 more attack, he would have been able to finish me off. Or no, he wouldn't. Never mind. I have Fiendish Chain. If he had 100 more attack and he remembered to use Tornado Dragon, then he would have won. Assuming I also still forgot to activate Mirage in that alternate reality. I could have let him have the 1500 just for the epic 100 life point anime comeback, but I decided to play it safe. Because this was a tournament, and I did want to, make smart plays when I could, when I don't forget to activate the obvious card to activate. Here I top deck Esset, which is kind of insane. It could have been any other dragon normal summon, so anything except for Stardust Synchron or Hieratic Dragon of Su. It could have been my other Wish Converging Dragon or a Catapult Turtle, because that can summon Esset from the deck. Basically, the point is, it was a normal summon dragon, which gave me exactly what I needed to get Red Med back with Samsara, and then banish the dragon to summon it. And now this is game, because I just revived Majestic Star Dragon, and there's no way he can play through this a second time. Especially now that I'm going to remember to activate Mirage. Because I think I realized immediately after that last turn ended that I forgot to activate Mirage. I attack for 3800, he has 900 life left, and there's no way he can break two nukes on his turn. Like, with the 3 cards he has in hand, he just doesn't have a way to do that. He activates Black Fang first, and then activates Star Pendulum Graph, which is nice, because I was probably going to negate Black Fang anyway. I was probably going to negate this anyway. but since he activated Black Fang first, I got to negate this and then get rid of one of his other cards in the process. I use Mirage to bring this straight back, and there's nothing he can do. Whatever his last card is, I can just negate it, and then on my turn, attack with Red Mid, and I win. So that was that game. That was game 2 of the tournament match. Even though I cheated unknowingly, which is that even cheating? Different people give you different answers. Yeah. If I hadn't milled Stardust Synchron with Ravine, like you're technically not allowed to, that game probably would have just ended immediately with him winning, and then we would have gone to game 3, in which case I would have gone first, and as long as I was able to open the combo, easier said than done, honestly, the deck's not that consistent. If I opened the combo, I don't think he would have been able to stop me. He would have to basically draw DD Crow if he even plays that in the side deck, and I'm not sure he did. I'm trying to log into Dueling Book right now so I can... Oh, it's because I still have this one open. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll show you guys the deck list for that Hieratic deck I just played. Tuning is not legal in split format, so you only have 6 ways to get Stardust Synchron, which is your best play starter. So the deck's not super consistent, like I keep saying. It's more of a... very much a glass cannon deck. It has some insanely strong end boards, but they're all like 3 to 4 card combos. I play 3 Artillery Catapult Turtle, which is just 3 more copies of Esset. Same with Convocation, 3 more copies of Esset. Or Sue, since a basic combo you can do if you don't open Stardust pieces, mainly just this one, is you can go normal summon Esset, tribute it for Sue. Sue special summons... Sue special summons a Labradorite from your deck, and then level 6 non-tuner, level 6 tuner, you make Ultimaya, this one, or Photon Strike Bouncer. You make Ultimaya if you have a spell or trap to set, which you usually do since you play, about 20 of them. And then Ultimaya summons a Crystal Ling. So basically, 2 card combo, technically 3 that you need, but you keep the 3rd card, so you only use 2 cards in the process, so I'm going to call it a 2 card combo to make Crystal Ling, and then you can set whatever back row you have. But usually you want to open Stardust Synchron so that you can make a more stable board, more substantial board with Majestic Star Dragon, and possibly a Crystal Ling as well if you get the right cards. If you open Esset and a way to get Stardust Synchron and a way to get Trail either in your hand or in your graveyard, these 3 cards, plus any spell or trap to set, like Mirage, or if you open Arriving Miracle, or Cosmic Cyclone, basically any spell or trap you can set along that you don't have to use to get these cards in the first place. So if you open 4 monsters in Convocation, that doesn't count because you need... Or if you open these 3 monsters in Convocation, that won't count because you need to use the Convocation to start the combo anyway. So if you open these 3 cards and any spell or trap you can set after doing the combo, then you get to have Crystal Wing on your board on top of the Majestic Star Dragon. You play 2 Wish Converging Dragon because it's really inconvenient to open it. If you open the second one, it's not even that bad because you can special summon it off of Arriving Miracle to have something to banish for Red Med if you weren't able to get Trail on board for its token. So running 2 is not a Garnet if you draw the second one, or it's not a Brick, I mean. But if you only play 1, then it is a Garnet, because if it's in your opening hand, then you have no way to put it on top of your deck to draw it with Arriving Miracle, and you won't get to summon a second dragon from your deck. So playing 1 would make it a Garnet. Playing 2 makes it less likely that you open all of them. And if you draw one of them but not the other, that's still fine, because Arriving Miracle can summon it anyway. 1 Samsara in case you open Black Metal, which is really nice for the recovery. These are not necessary, these back row pieces, but like you could run more consistency instead. But that there's only so much consistency you can run since tuning isn't legal. If tuning was legal, I would probably be running 3. And I would probably take out the Terraforming and maybe 2 Cosmic Cyclones. Because these are really your only flex spots. You don't have to run Mirage, but it's searchable and it's just so good. It turns like a good board into a great board. So I would keep it in. Alexandrite is necessary because if you don't open a way to get Esset on board, then you have no way to summon Labradorite. Sorry, I'm explaining this wrong. Alexandrite is necessary because if you don't have a way to get Trail on board, then the only way you can Synchro Summon Stardust is with Stardust Synchron plus summoning Alexandrite off of Hieratic. So this is there for backup. Ideally, you can summon Labradorite and Trail, but if you don't have access to Trail, you have to summon this to even make Stardust Dragon at all. And since Majestic Star Dragon is your main card, your main boy, you want to guarantee that you can get it out as much as possible. So that's why Alexandrite is there. I think that explains everything. This is just standard side deck pieces, nothing interesting here. With some of the crazier hands, you can make spheres on top of Majestic and Crystal Wing, or you could make like Majestic Stardust spheres, or Majestic Stardust Photon Strike Bouncer. Like there's some pretty cool hands you can do, or pretty cool boards you can make if you get the right hand. Moonlight is there along with Scarlight to summon off Ultimaya, just because they're good at outing different kinds of boards. They're good against various decks, so it's nice to have the option. And then Leo here, you can probably take it out. There are just a couple decks in split format that have a really hard time dealing with it. But this is the card that can definitely be the easiest to take out. Same with Jinzo Layered, it almost never comes up. Photon Strike Bouncer is basically a budget Crystal Wing, because if you can make Ultimaya, but you don't have a spell or trap to set to get out Crystal Wing, this is what you make instead. So if you get really unlucky and just open 5 monsters, you can still have a negate on board, which is better than nothing. That about covers the deck. Hieratics, like I said last video, split format, you have the generic card pool, and then the card pool for whatever archetype you're working with, in this case the hieratic card pool, which is actually the biggest card pool in split format, and it has a lot of different directions you can take. It's very, very open to innovation. The rule for split format is every pool has to fit within 90 cards, so it can all be on one dueling book link, and Hieratics were the first pool to actually get to 90 cards. Some others have gotten 80 or higher, but none of them except Hieratics have hit 90. Alright, here we go. This is the hieratic card pool. So if you want to play Hieratics, you can use anything in the generic card pool, which is where those cards like Venus Chain and DD Crow and Cosmic Cyclone came from, and Terraforming. But if you want to play Hieratics, you also get to use any of these cards. The pool used to be even stronger because it had stuff like Abe the World Chalice Justiciar, which you could make with just Draconet, summoning Galaxy Serpent from the deck. But that card was banned for being too easy to make an insane board with off of 1 or 2 cards. But regardless, there are still plenty of other options. You have Saphira if you want to do a ritual version, because Hymn of Light can tribute a dragon from your hand to summon Saphira, and then whatever you tributed will summon a Labradorite from deck, and that's easy Ultimaya or rank 6 access. Or you can just leave Saphira on board to gain card advantage with it, either by ripping your opponent's hand or just drawing through your deck. There's also the Stardust version I just showed, which has Illuminate and Synchron and Trail and Majestic Star Dragon. You can play some fusion stuff with Dragon's Mirror to summon first the dragons. You can play a Dragon Roar variant. These are each limited to 1 copy in the hieratic pool, but they're still there. You can still get them off of Dragon Shrine and Mirage of Nightmare. And with those, you can go into Draco Sack and Big Eye, so that gives you some other cool options. And the Hieratics can summon this for another level 7 to make plays with. You have cool stuff with Nuit being targeted by Destrudo. That can enable some cool combos. You have Odd Eyes Saber Dragon, which is honestly not that good. It's kind of just a worse version of another hieratic monster, because you can't make Ultimaya with it since there's no level 7 Dragon Tuner. So honestly, it's not that good. No one has been able to actually make anything good out of it yet. You have Tornado Bringer, which you can equip to any dragon off of Union Carrier, so you can make like a Crystal Wing and then equip it with Tornado Bringer, and that's really hard to deal with. You also have the True Draco stuff. You don't have any of the main 3 monsters, because those are just too good for split format, honestly. They just give you too many free pluses. But you do have Drayath, which is really good on its own. It has a lot of defense. Diagram can protect it from dying in battle, and it protects itself from dying by card effects. So it's just kind of a beefy presence on the board. And it works really well with Hieratics because you tribute summon it, and it can do that without even taking your normal summon if you use the Draco spells. And it's level 6, so if you summon Labradorite, you can make Ultimaya with it. And with Dragonic Diagram, you're basically guaranteed to have a spell or trap to set every single turn to keep getting summons off of Ultimaya. And that's my other favorite version of the deck to play, which you might have glimpsed earlier. Hieratic True Dracos. You play 3 of this because it's the only Draco you can play, and then the rest is pretty basic. Standard Hieratic play starters, and then a ton of back row, and all the Draco spells and traps. You would play more, but this is semi-limited, and this is limited in split format, just to keep the power level of the deck at a reasonable level. And I believe this is limited as well. So I play the highest amount of the Draco stuff I can. And then the 3 good Hieratics, since you don't play Destruda, these are the only 3 good ones. And maximum consistency with the terraforming the diagram. That about covers it. I hope this sparks interest with some of you in split format. I'll leave the link to the Discord in the description, and I hope you check out the format.